Take that, bitch! Think you can sneak up on me? Ooh. Yeah! Woo! Fuck you! Fuck you! 1 second! Hey, Justin. Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. You all right, man? I'm pretty sure I heard you screaming.
Great. You know, running through catacombs, shooting Nazis, video game stuff.
Right. Hey, this place is looking pretty clean today.
And peaceful, too, with just the 2 cats. I found homes for all my kittens.
Oh, you mean no more incest cats?
No, I found homes for all of my kittens, and I take offense to that. They don't have the same cultural values as we do.
Well, you're right on that. But no more cats, right? He's fixed?
He is, but Zira, the mother of all, she is not.
I don't know who Caesar's dad is, but I can't imagine he's too happy about his son knocking up his lover like that, who also happens to be his mother.
Justin, stop applying human values onto animals. Besides, there's so many alley cats in Pilsen, they're all just one big family.
Whatever, let's just get to the podcast.
Yeah, enough cat chat. Let's work.
And this concludes part 1 of Cat Scratch Caesar.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Tuesdays with Gory.
Heidi-ho.
I am Joseph Blansky.
And I am Justin Fink. We are a horror movie podcast where we get together every other week and we discuss the horror movies that we love ever so much. Quite a great past 2 weeks. It's great to be back in the studio with you, Joe.
Glad to have you here.
Just us. It's been a while since it's been just us.
We're back together again.
Back together again. You know that Hall & Oates song?
Hell yeah.
That's so good. Okay. Well, let's get the ball rolling here. How about we dive into our horror movie histories? I wanted to talk this week to you, Joe, and
Oh yeah?
maybe it's just something that I've been embarrassed to bring up with guests around, but it has to do with girls. Horror movies and girls. Do you have any experiences with horror movies and dating?
I think I have an embarrassing story.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do tell.
I was really young, and I went on a date with a girl to go see The Sixth Sense. And this may have not been the first date I ever went on.
Mm-hmm.
And about like 20 minutes, 30 minutes into the movie, when they get to the scenes where they're like children or like people are hanging in the school.
Yeah.
I just turned to her and was like, "Hey, we got to go." Because I was really scared and I couldn't handle the movie. I didn't like to see the dead people.
And was she cool with that?
I mean, she seemed like it. We walked around and hung out afterwards, but we didn't go on another date. That never happened.
Were you upfront with her? Were you like, I want to leave because I'm scared? Or did you try to make up an excuse?
I think I don't know. I think I made up an excuse.
Oh, really? Do you think she bought it?
No. It's like, oh man, we should go. I gotta go get a smoothie.
You know what? It just hit me. I didn't have a smoothie today. We should go.
Oh, we lost our stubs. We can't get back in.
Well,
how about you? Do you have any memorable date or Netflix and chill story?
Oh my God. The thing with movies is that like whenever I do Netflix and chill, I love movies so much, especially if it's a horror movie, that like when the chilling happens, you know what I mean? And the movie's still playing, there's still a good part of me that's still paying attention to the movie. And there's been more than like one occasion where I'll be like making out with a girl and then there'll be like a joke or something like on the movie and then like I'll giggle. She'll be like, are you still listening to the movie?
No, you tickled me.
Yeah. No, I need a smoothie. We should get smoothies. Ah, man, Netflix and chill. But yeah, I just remember I have gone on a few dates taking girls to see horror movies, and it's a lot of fun. The majority of girls I know there's a lot of horror movie warriors out there that are female, but a lot of the girls I know get scared very easily while watching horror movies. And I think that's like, I don't know, it like feeds into like my male ego of like feeling like this brave warrior who's just like sitting there stoic while, she's like jumping on my arm and like clawing into my skin. And
I'm totally the girl and jumping
Oh, really?
every time anyway. I'm not playing it cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I should tell everyone that when Joe and I watch movies, he's constantly jumping on me.
It's true.
Well, Joe, with those fun stories and embarrassing admissions, I just want to remind you that whatever is said on the internet lives there forever.
Oh, great.
So, yeah. Did you watch any good horror movies these past 2 weeks?
I watched a few, not as much as I was cramming in before.
Mm-hmm.
But I caught up on all of Ash vs. Evil Dead and watched it a couple times.
Oh, wow.
And it's so good. It's so perfect.
You watched each episode more than once?
Yes.
Wow.
In every one, they always like include summaries for people who didn't watch it too.
Mm-hmm.
But they just like mumble it along. And there's just like, yeah, the Necronomicon, inked in flesh, bound in human blood. That book. It's like, yeah, we do. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, right.
And then what else? I watched a documentary called Video Nasties, Moral Panic, Censorship, and Videotape
Huh.
about horror movie censorship and rating and destruction in Europe or in Great Britain during the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really eye-opening. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Immediately after that, watched Frankenhooker, which was way better than I had high hopes because it is one of my friend's favorite movies.
That's how you celebrated your right to watch any horror movie you can.
Yeah, I'll watch Frankenhooker. And it definitely was grosser and funnier than I thought it would be.
Oh, nice.
There's like one thing that I didn't like about it that I want to talk about is the main character, whose name is Jeffrey Franken, is that they have this awful device, like plot narrative, where he tells you everything that he's doing the entire movie, to the camera, and it's not voiceover. He's saying it while he's doing everything.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so funny.
Like Zach Morris in Saved by the Bell.
So Frankenhooker, highly recommend it.
Highly recommend.
And you haven't seen any films by him. His name is like, what? You're gonna kill me, internet. Richard Hennenlotter, I think. But anyway, whatever. He's the guy who did Basket Case, Basket Case 2, Basket Case 3, and Brain Damage. And I watched another film of his, like one of his later ones, and there's another physical body horror sexual thing. He is a great director. And then last on that list, not quite a horror movie, but I did watch Mondo Cane.
Yes.
The Italian exploitation movie.
And that is like one of the earlier ones that like led to all the other ones, or
it's even pre Cannibal Holocaust. It's like a documentary style movie that basically shows how humans around the world doing stupid things and making fun of them. It offends every group.
Great.
And which was an inspiration for Cannibal Holocaust and also the movie that we watched, The Green Inferno.
Tis right.
What movies did you watch in the past 2 weeks?
Well,
Justin?
First of all, I subscribe to Shudder.com.
Ah.
All you horror fans, I highly recommend it. Only $5 a month, and they have just an amazing collection of horror films. The first thing I watched, and I watched it off of there, was the movie by Ty West called The Innkeepers.
The Innkeepers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's pretty good. It's the guy who made House of the Devil.
Oh, cool.
And The Sacrament.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, but this one is about a haunted inn, like on like the last nights that it's open, and these two innkeepers are just like working the night shift, and they're starting to. It's a ghost movie, but it's a super slow burn, but it's worth it because it's fun to see the characters interact. And then I rewatched because I hadn't seen it since I was a teenager. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Woo!
That movie is amazing.
It's insane.
I love that movie so much. It is so different than the first one.
It's completely different.
And in very much the same way the first one is like a representation of like the horrors of like the post-Vietnam 70s. This one, its tone is totally just a representation of like the cultural excess that existed in the 80s. And that's why it's just so over the top and absurd, and it's really, really funny. I really enjoyed that movie. And then I also watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake because Joe happened to have a copy in his apartment.
Yeah, on my floor
On
near
your
the
floor.
door.
Yeah, you told me you had it. I was just like, oh, really? Can I borrow it? He's just like, yeah, it's on the floor. I don't know what to do with it.
Where it belongs. Garbage.
Exactly. That is a 1-star movie from me. Don't see it. And then on Shudder, I watched this movie called Unmasked. And then there's more to the title, like the story of something, but it's about this serial killer. And he exists in a world where Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers like were actual serial killers. Robert Englund is in it, which is cool. But after the first 45 minutes, I was just like, this movie clearly, like, when they think slasher, they only think of, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, like
the older classic quote in quotation marks classic slashers.
Yeah, it did not feel very well educated on the genre, which is annoying because it was obviously like a meta commentary on the genre. So
yeah.
Anyways, moving on. I watched Cannibal Holocaust for the first time.
Ooh, what'd you think? Yeah, under my recommendation, I believe.
Yeah. I would have to say Jesus Christ, and not the gore scenes where humans are being killed. I was fine with. I actually thought
really?
The scene where she has the pole like sticking through her body, I thought that was like kind of beautiful. Like it's like really imaginative and like so striking.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
grisly.
Very disturbing, but I like that. The part that really disturbed me were all the parts where animals were actually like tortured on screen. I cannot handle that at all. So for that reason,
so ridiculous. You could watch people getting tortured, but not animals.
Well,
or is it the fact that it's real?
Because it's real. Because it's real. I mean, if it was fake, I would still like, even if it was fake, I would have the hardest time watching like simulated animal torture.
Have you seen The Hills Have Eyes?
No.
Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Wait. I've seen the original, but not the remake.
Okay. I can't remember how gory the dog death is in the original.
Oh, God.
I know in the second one it's pretty gross.
Oh, really?
Man, we always talk about a dog death in like every episode. Why does that happen all the time?
I feel like it happens in horror movies a lot.
What a bunch of dicks.
So just 2 more movies. I watched the first 45 minutes of a movie called Hatchet 3.
Hatchet 3?
Yeah, it's just on Netflix. I saw Hatchet 1 and it was fun. Hatchet 3, the gore was awesome. The first like 5 minutes were really cool. And then it just like totally slowed down and it was just like bad acting and not in a fun way. And I had to turn it off before I even saw anyone else get killed again.
And you've had a bunch of bad horror movie experiences.
It happens. I mean, that's my problem, though, like being a critical horror movie watcher, is that like if I could just suspend those things, then I can enjoy more stuff. But I can't help it. I think too much about this stuff. All right, last but no least, I watched a movie called Plus One, which is like kind of an alien invasion movie about these kids at a party who all of a sudden like a weird flash happens and then versions of themselves from just 10 minutes before appear, like identical clones. I would give it like maybe 2.5 or 3 out of 4. I had some issues with it, but I definitely think it's worth watching. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the way they respond to like seeing themselves. Felt very real. It's a good looking movie.
What is it called? Like Plus One?
Plus One, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, that wraps it up for the movies that I watched. And without further ado, let's jump into the
main dish.
The main dish.
Entree.
Yes, right, the entree. Eli Roth's 2013 The Green Inferno.
And how yummy it was.
Oh man, it was a feast for your eyes. Your
Definitely.
senses.
I couldn't. There's so much where I'm just like, I don't want to take notes. I need to see this. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat, but like I have like I feel like I'm eating meat when I watch like a gory movie. I'm just like, yes, more.
Yeah, I know.
Feed me.
So I tried to feed you some of my Lay's Gyro chips, but you wouldn't have it.
That's right. You were like, ooh, you want some chips? I was like, yeah. You're like, oh, here you go. It had a euro on the. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, they do taste like meat too. I recommend them if you're looking for an unusual chip.
If you're a sinner. All right, Joe. Well, we agreed that we don't want to give too much away about this movie.
No, we do not. I like it way too much.
So we are telling you this now. If you have not seen the movie, proceed with caution. Because really, my favorite thing about this movie were all the unexpected turns.
It's so ridiculous.
And not like plot-wise turns, but just in terms of like how people get totally fucked up. It's just like it catches you off guard. And I feel like that movie would be like just a little less enjoyable. And I say just a little because it's still a great movie on its own, but
it's so
I would say a little less enjoyable if you see these things coming. So we're going to try to be pretty vague. With that in mind, Joe, we were thinking that you would run us through a very quick rundown of the plot.
Ooh, yeah. Yes, I will.
Coming up right now. Caesar!
Actually, we have a feline interruption, a moment.
We have a special guest. Caesar!
Caesar! Our house cat.
Our house cat broke into the studio. Oh, well.
Oh,
now he wants out.
Okay.
He's embarrassed.
He's embarrassed. He's leaving the studio.
He literally just ran out once we introduced us.
So, without giving away too much of the plot, this movie is about a college freshman who joins a group of activists on a trip to Peru to save some trees. A plane crash causes them to fall into the hands of a tribe of indigenous people there who are all painted red, and they happen to be cannibals.
Uh-oh.
And now the rest of the film, spoilers.
Spoilers.
The rest of the film, if that's not an indication of spoilers, is a gore feast of the tallest order, full of blood, tension, dark humor, with a sole survivor.
And speaking of spoilers, there actually were no spoilers in this movie because they poured salt on all the meats.
Oh yeah, there were plenty of scenes of them going about their daily chores of, cleaning and cooking and preserving human flesh.
Well, I think it's a great time to take a break. What do you say?
Yes, I could use a snack. I need to find those Euro chips.
Oh, God. Anyways, we'll be right back, kiddos.
And now, part 2 of Cat Scratch. Caesar.
So anyways, I tell her, I says, hey lady, this belly ain't gonna scratch itself.
Heard that one 9 lives ago.
You calling me a joke thief? All right, let's break it up, fellas. Look, I know that we had our beefs in the past. Us being the Purriers, and you guys, the infamous Cat Gang, the Kitten Kings. Well, I am so happy that we have learned how to settle our differences. Now look, I'm looking for my boy, Caesar. He knocked up his own mother, and now he's trying to start a family without me. If anyone has any idea where this castrated, no-nut, pathetic excuse for a cat is hiding, come out with yous.
Speak to me, speak to me.
Yeah, you, the furry baguette over there.
The other night when I was taking my stroll, I pee on the open window. When I hear a sweet sound, a mew, and I think, who is this fine lady? But no, it is some feminine podcaster by the name of Joseph Lansky. And I turn away, but then I hear, mew, a second time, followed by a shout, Caesar!
Hey, you mean to tell me you were pissing on a windowsill, you think you hear broad, turns out the people in the apartment listen to a podcast, and in this podcast you heard my Caesar being yelled at?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you happen to catch the name of this podcast?
The podcast is called Tuesdays With Gory.
Now listen, cats, I need you to hit the streets, talk to all your families. Try to find out where they record Tuesdays with Gory. Felines, paws in the air. We stand together for a noble cause. Sorry, cause, noble cause.
Heyo, horror fans. Watching any scary movies? We'd love to know. Hit us up on Instagram with the hashtag MaggotPhone. We'd love to see what you're watching.
Oh would you do if you were in here one night alone and then you looked up the Ouija board and the thing was moving around,
Oh, God.
like giving you a message?
And you know it glows in the dark, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would be
Oh.
absolutely frightening. That would be untakeable. I would lose it.
You would just like sit here in shock.
No, I'd immediately leave the room, get my clothes on, and leave the apartment.
You would?
Yeah, I would immediately get fully
Wow.
clothed and like jacketed on and not stick around.
Then where would you go? Like a friend's house?
Yeah, I'd call as many people as like it's close. Like who's the closest right now where I can just leave?
Yeah, yeah. And then when would you come back? Or how would you go about? Would you try to find like a priest or something?
No, I just wait till the next morning.
Would you just try to get rid of the Ouija board?
Definitely get
Yeah.
rid of the Ouija board, but I'm
Yeah.
not. It's a board game. That was what babysitters used to scare me as a child. They're not really magical.
I don't know.
Oh, hello, and welcome back to Tuesdays with Gory.
Adio.
This episode is brought to you by Royal Dank's Cookies.
Mm-mm.
A taste to remember.
Cookies are great. They were a gift from a friend?
Yeah. My good friend Mike.
Ah, well, thank you, Mike. Those are great cookies.
Thanks for the cookies, Mike.
Well, speaking of treats, let's return to the Green Inferno.
Ooh.
I believe it's time we go into the kill count.
The death toll.
The kill list.
Death toll.
All right. So, like I said, we're just going to fly through it without too much detail. So there was
Fast belling.
a plane crash. 7 people died in the plane crash.
A little more than
And
7 there.
after that, they get captured.
Mhm.
And then the number of people who die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ambiguous number.
Half bell.
Half bell. And that is as much as I'm willing to explain with the kill list. If you listen to our other episodes, we have no problem spoiling plot points, spoiling how people die, because generally those movies came out several years ago. You've all had a chance to see them. But this is such a new movie that and we enjoyed it so much that we don't
So immensely.
we don't want to cheapen the experience for you by seeing these things coming.
I still wanted to mention a couple of the goriest
Well,
moments.
it is definitely imperative that we mention some of them.
Yeah, just a little taste. A little teaser.
Yes, yes.
A little sample portion. A
Mhm.
little sample spoon.
Yeah, trailer.
Toothpick sized. No. Actually, yeah, nothing in this movie can ever come on a toothpick. It is all really intense.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of which, one of the first deaths is after it happens in the plane crashes,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the pilots has a tree go take his head straight off.
Amazing, yes.
And while they're panicking in the plane, it repeatedly shows it in the camera over and over again. And on the way out, even one of the characters, Jonah's like, "Don't look." It's like, well, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, it shows at multiple angles. It's like, oh, here's the side. Here's his head, like, flip back. You can see his eyes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jonah, who told us to not look, he has one of the most
Oh, that
intense dismemberment scenes I have ever seen on film.
poor guy. The lovable oaf.
What is he described as? Like, don't be another fat kid in love.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, but I'm not. We're friends. He's like, keep telling yourself that.
Or no, and it's going to stay that way.
Oh, yeah. But poor Jonah gets it really bad.
Oh, my God.
Not just, like, dismemberment, but also eyes and tongue cut out.
And
Gory.
you're probably thinking to yourself, like, oh, I'm sure they just suggest it, and then you see the body part. No, you
See
you
it
see it
shaking and
all.
wriggling and
Yeah.
spraying out like an anime movie.
Uh-huh.
It's so fun.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I guess fun's the way to describe it. I couldn't keep my eyes away.
Yeah, I would call it fun
Jeez.
for sure.
Yeah, this is a movie where, like I said, I wasn't able to take notes because I'm just like, what? This is actually happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, after one of the other deaths, one of the children around the town are seen playing with one of the girls' tattoos and like on their body.
Yes.
And that's how like they figure it out or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so terrifying because they do it in the perfect playful manner
Uh-huh.
where it just is
It's like they do not register the gravity at all.
No, which makes it even the goriness accentuated.
Yeah.
Even though it's so simple, it's just skin. Normally, that wouldn't be something that would be near the top of my gore list, but it got me in this. And then the last one is, as we said before, this movie is inspired by Cannibal Holocaust, the old Italian film, and that has the infamous scene of the person on the pillar. Well, this has like 5 people on pillars, I think, later in the film, and it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's as much gore as I want to give away because
yeah,
there's plenty to see, and I don't want to ruin it for you.
I feel like you've definitely given them a very good taste. Just an appetizer
Yeah.
for the main course.
Ugh.
How about we discuss the themes of this movie?
It's so thematic. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I want to dive first.
Because you know exactly what's going to happen by the trailer and the intro to the movie, and there's so much foreshadowing going on in it, too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to see this crazy cannibal movie. I hope it has more cannibalism in it than Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, right.
This film was what you wanted Cannibal Holocaust to be.
Exactly, yeah. Just a masterpiece. It's beautiful. I wanted the first theme I want to discuss is the one that's most apparent and most obvious, and Eli Roth in interviews and stuff will upfront say this is what this movie is about, but it's about this term that I don't know if he invented it, but I've heard him use it a lot, called slacktivism.
What? Never heard of that.
Like slacker activism. It's like this new age of activism where it's all about like retweeting posts.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Coney 2012 stuff, and the people participating in it are more so doing so just because they don't want to be left out. You know, like they want to be there's like this fear of being the one person who's like, oh wait, you didn't retweet that? Like, don't you care?
Oh, you don't care enough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then there's also obviously, you know, just the like self-righteousness of having something that you believe in and then giving yourself an enemy. And
oh my god, I just realized it's so funny that that we were wondering why it has their hashtags at the end of the movie in the credits.
yeah.
That's so funny because it's like, oh yeah, well then tweet at me, you tweeting motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I'm making fun of you.
Yeah.
Here's how to do it.
Yeah,
Tweet at me.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, I wouldn't think that Eli Roth like is anti-activism at all.
Oh no.
But just in today's culture where it's so easy to seem like you care and to do a bunch of stuff just to prove that you care, not because you actually care. So
like, oh, this will get us more likes or more hits. This will be better for our cause. And it's like, well, you're really not doing anything.
Like you're more interested in fame or recognition or
having a community.
All in all, feeling good about yourself. And the problem with that is that makes it harder for people who actually care. Because the market's so saturated with all these people, it's like, oh, who do we trust? It's just like, oh, we should probably go for the most charismatic or the person with the most money to like make these inspirational videos that like manipulate us. And
this is so ridiculous because a lot of the people who have money have turned out to be like undercover agents. Activism is such a weird, dangerous thing. I never It always seems like I don't know. People are playing against each other. What was the line said by Sky Fiera?
Sky Fiera. She goes.
I don't know who that is, but apparently she's a pop star.
Yeah, I mean she's a like.
Explain this to me because I'm culturally ignorant.
Yeah, well, I mean she's not like a American Idol like top 40 radio pop star. She's like an indie pop star. Like all the kids at Pitchfork like her.
Oh yeah, I could look it up and read it.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, she has this really amazing or hilarious politically incorrect.
Oh
line.
yeah. What did she say? Being an activist is so fucking gay. No, activism is so fucking gay.
Activism is so fucking gay.
And that's so awesome. It's just like what an off-color and it's like it's a type of like thing that would piss off activists using gay like that. And then there's also the thing with activism and then finding these false idols. Like I said, just finding the person with the most charisma who generally the leader of these movements tend to be like very self-interested. And as we learn from the leader of this like activist group, again, spoiler, all we want to say is that he's turns out to be not exactly the good-willed man that he presents himself as this like leader of a revolution of protesters
of noble causes and fine ideals.
You're right. And
No, he's a shit.
that scene where he's masturbating,
Oh my god, that's insane.
that was pulled directly from With That Coney 2012 thing. The guy who started that, it got so much bigger than he was anticipating, and like it almost like, I'm guessing it like exploded his ego, but he was found running the streets naked and whacking off.
What?
Yeah, in the streets of LA, I think.
That's so ridiculous.
So it's just like, hey, look, like this is the guy that you're like giving so much trust to, So, and then, because I was thinking about Moby Dick and why the main character has a necklace that's like really important to her.
A flute that was melted down from her grandmother's silver.
Yes, and she keeps it in a hollowed out Moby Dick like bookcase. They say that one of the bigger themes in the book is that of defiance, and I think that's fitting because like all these people are in this mess because they're like on both sides of the party. Actually, like all these people are doing what they're doing because they so blindly trust in the things they believe in.
They're their leader. Yeah.
This actually leads really well into the second theme, which is that of the existence of cultural biases. And
God, I love that. That's shown a lot. Oh.
Yeah, and it's just like, so this tribe, we take them as savages, right? And that's what what a lot of people are so upset about this movie is just like, oh, it's
another exploitation film of indigenous people.
Right. It's depicting them as, just like
backwards
savages without values or whatever. But you think about it, like what they do, and like you see this process that they have, and they know all about like these herbs and the preparation of the food, like
and corn, and they have cattle and pigs.
Yeah. So this obviously,
they keep the humans in with the pigs.
This obviously comes from like a deep tradition of doing this. So I feel like what this movie talks about is how when you're born into a culture, like it's so easy for us to be like, and this is such an extreme example, but for us to say, oh, those people eat people, like that's horrible, and like they like trap and kill people. But there's something to be said of the power of growing up in a culture where you are told one thing your whole life. There's a lot of people that believe like really like terrible things in the world, and they think it because it's what they've been taught is right their whole lives.
Which is a theme in the movie with what is it? FGM, female genital mutilation.
Right.
Which is such a touchy subject to put in the movie. It's
I
like,
know.
if cannibalism and offending like indigenous people wasn't enough, here's another one.
Yeah. But I think that's great because like obviously there's not many stories of actual cannibal tribes in the world we live in now, but there are several accounts of female genital mutilation. So it's in this way, this movie's just like, okay, so like maybe there's not cannibals, but there is this thing that we abhor, that we think is terrible. But to these people growing up in this culture, they are brought up to believe in the value of it, and there needs to be a spark for a person to be like, wait, what am I doing? Like, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing this? And I feel like that's what the little boy in the tribe represented.
Oh, yeah.
Is like
when he stops it.
Yes, he's like
oh, my God.
He's like the new generation saying, like, wait a second, we can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't right. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's...
Because he sees her in agony because culturally it's done by the women to save them. The reason is to save face or whatever.
Right.
Well, but having maybe other people weren't screaming as much as she was, and so he had this emotional connection to her that made him interrupt it.
Yeah,
because also he wasn't supposed to be in that room, right? And he's kicked out immediately after freeing her.
Well, I mean, he formed a connection with her from the second he got there, and there's like something about her, and maybe there's like a pureness to her.
Oh yes, because as we figured out, she is the virgin.
Right. She's they find out that she's a virgin, and because of this, they elect her to be to have her clitoris cut off,
which is strange. It's like she's being initiated into the tribe.
Yes, that's the interesting thing is that you would think that, like, to them they think they're doing a good thing for her. So it's just like their intentions are not sadistic in that. They picked her out and they see something in her that it's almost like they're saying like, you could be one of us. Or they're almost saying you are one of us.
But we're going to eat all these other guys.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to eat all your friends. But that actually like goes to my other theme, and it's just like there's the whole theme of entering womanhood. Or just like womanhood in general and femininity, and then the rituals we have surrounding that.
And and the men too, because the posturing male that she immediately goes to,
Right, exactly.
And then realizes, no, that's not what I want. I should actually follow what I believe in.
Exactly.
Instead of aping onto some handsome guy's cause.
Exactly. Yes. And you'll notice in the movie, she relies on men a good deal.
Oh, yeah, because her dad, too. She's out to eat with her dad, at least. And she's always asking her dad for help.
Yeah, she's asking her dad for help. And then when she's like she's relying on men to save her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like when she falls in the river.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. At the end, it's her like claiming her like empowerment, you know, like embracing her, you would say symbolically for what like feminine energies and masculine energies represent. It's her like claiming her masculinity and her like claiming her like warriorhood. That's the first moment in the movie where she's like not scared anymore.
Specifically with when she sees the black jaguar, which is shown at the beginning of the movie, and then later in the movie. And this makes it make sense, is that it's given two titles. It's a guardian of nature, but it also curses sinners to hell.
Right.
So it's good. So it can be good and bad.
Yeah. Okay, so then lastly, the theme of this movie is the idea of humanity versus nature, and which is more important. And
Green Inferno, yeah, because they're trying to save the trees.
Right. Well, I mean, they're not. I think when they go there, they're more concerned with the people living there.
Really?
Or that's what they say.
Oh yeah. Have you ever wanted to save a tribe?
Yeah. What I believe is, I firmly believe that like Eli Roth, in a way, he's saying it kind of jokingly, but I think at some level he does believe that humanity is kind of fucked, you know, and that like nature is more important, and that's actually a very evolved viewpoint to have, to say, because obviously nature is more important. Like nature's the reason we're here. We depend on it, and it does not depend on us. But I believe that's a big message of Eli Roth. At least in this movie. I would have to watch his other movies to see if it holds, but
Cabin Fever.
Yeah, right. But she is
Kids, don't piss all over the woods.
At first, she is interested in activism because she learns about female genital mutilation.
FGM.
Yes.
It's easier.
So she wants to put an end to that, but she's like really taken by it. So at first, her cause is for humanity. But towards the end, when the jaguar lets her go, we would assume, and this is there's parts of these movies that like feel a lot like a fairy tale to me.
Yeah.
You know, just like symbolisms, and like her necklace, which is a flute, like what does that represent? I know you hate when we go there, but like, is it a phallic symbol? You know? But it is in a way.
Yeah, like the bone through his nose. Oh my God.
No, but like this movie is in a way, like her journey is like embracing her warrior spirit in a way, because that's how she finally gets out. So then at the end, she finally gets out, and she lies about the people, right?
Yeah, I was at the end of the movie, I'm like, what?
Yes, because she's in love with the rainforest. She's in love with Mother Nature. She actually cares more about Mother Nature now than humanity, because she's learned that all humans are scum, basically. Like all these people that she looked up to, scumbags, you know, on both sides, the cannibals and the like, you know, the megalomaniacs that surround her.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because each of them are having their own societal sins.
Exactly. Yeah. But she goes out in the end, and why I believe that the jaguar lets her go is the jaguar is the guardian of nature, and it knows that in letting her go, it will protect the land that it lives in. Because she goes back there and then she lies about the people. Because if she says they're wonderful, beautiful people that took care of her, then nobody would demolish the place they lived. They'd have sympathy. But if she was like, they're filthy cannibals and they ate everyone, if she elicits anger towards these people, then they'd be like, oh, let's tear down the whole rainforest because they live there, you know? And then But there is another interesting theory, because first of all, we never know about about whether she has a mother. So we don't. In this movie, she does not have a mother
Her
figure.
her mom is dead, maybe.
They don't really say or like allude to it. So she doesn't have a mother figure, and like it's obviously like a pretty big time in her life. Like we said, like she's entering adulthood.
She's a freshman in college.
She's entering womanhood, and it's interesting. She joins another culture, this like tribe of cannibals. She joins their culture and adopts a new mother, the like elder.
Mm-hmm.
She like becomes, in a sense, she's her mother guiding her into womanhood, given their values and what they think womanhood is
different.
Yeah. So like I thought that was interesting, and like I think at some level, okay, two things. One, at some level I believe that she thinks she belongs to the tribe. So I think like, because I don't know, maybe, I mean, she obviously cares for that boy. I just think like that experience was significant to her. And there's the whole like emerging from hell thing of going through like a total hell and then emerging from it like a stronger, more defined person. And I feel like she went through that, because it was when she's pulling out of the helicopter, like we see in horror movies a lot, like the final girl gets out, but she's so traumatized. She's hysterical. But not Justine. Justine is she seems so peaceful and so like connected.
It's such a strange ending.
I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was just like
great.
It's just this allegory for like going through just this hellish thing and like coming out on the other side like a stronger person. So I thought that was cool.
It was cool. I think it's interesting that this film is labeled as an exploitation film because of the movies that it is inspired by, but it actually is, I don't know, it has more going for it. It has a better message. Mondo K-Knee and Cannibal Holocaust, like especially Mondo K-Knee, is just so offensive to everyone and not very redeeming. And Cannibal Holocaust, it has, even if it's criticism on filmmakers for setting things up and making people seem more savage than they are, it still has animal torture.
Right.
And so these movies aren't comfortable things to watch, like, even in their messages, where I have a lot more fun with the Green Inferno.
Oh, yeah. I almost feel like this movie is more of like a very dark comedy.
Oh, yeah. We haven't touched much on the dark humor. The sound design in this movie is so ridiculous.
Oh, my God, yeah. It's just like Eli Roth is just like playing with you. But you were talking about exploitation. That's interesting because this movie it showed a lot of gore, but I don't know how to like really put this, especially to people who don't understand any like merits to showing gore on cinema. But I thought it was tasteful. Like there's a way it could have done it that wouldn't have been as elegant, or as like if it was a very gory movie, but it was kind of sophisticated.
They gave a reason, there was like, oh well, they're defending the tribe is defending themselves, and they're hungry.
And then like in the scenes with Justine when she's in her underwear, like it didn't feel like we were trying to rape her with a camera. It was
sure.
Very like, I mean, the lens was very. It didn't exploit anyone.
And it had a point of actually the boy watching and him being impacted by her screaming and him getting empathy for it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just for us to watch a girl squirm. It was actually for character development. And because like, see, this is bad.
Right.
This is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I want to go watch Hostel and Hostel 2 because I've never seen those. I love Cabin Fever so much.
Cabin Fever is amazing.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I wasn't before, but now I'm just a total Eli Roth convert. I mean,
this movie sold you so well.
I was never against him. Like I saw Hostel, but I saw Hostel before I started thinking critically while watching horror movies. I'll bet if I watch Hostel again, I'll notice a lot more than I did the first time. But he was just never on my radar, and he hasn't directed anything in like 6 years before The Green Inferno. So that could be why.
The last thing was Hostel 2.
Yeah. So now he's back in the consciousness.
Oh, yeah. Knock Knock is just out, right?
I really want to see that.
We got to go see
with
that
Keanu
theaters.
Reeves.
Fuck yeah, Keanu. I love you.
I love Keanu Reeves so much.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Hey, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. See Green Inferno if you haven't.
Watch it with the family.
Watch it with the family. at Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, gosh.
Just wheel the TV into the dining room and make sure you've got surround sound. All right, folks. Well, stay scared, kiddos.
And now, the thrilling conclusion of Cat Scratch Caesar.
All right. Well, I think that went pretty well.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Great movie. Good conversation.
Yeah.
Except for Caesar busting in like a
I
dick.
know. What was up with that? He really seemed nervous when we brought him up, too, on the podcast. Huh. Whoa, did you hear that sound?
What?
You don't hear that sound? It's like a bunch of little...
I'm sure it's just Caesar knocking something over again. Like I told you, I got rid of all my kittens.
I don't know. I'm going to check it out, all right? Oh, it's just a little... Oh. Oh, my... Oh, there's so many... Oh, no!
Justin? Justin?
Hello, Mr. Blansky.
What? What is this? Talking cats?
Yes, pin them down, cats.
They're so cute. No! No!
Hello, Caesar. Remember me? It's your father. Yeah, that's right. You can't talk. That's what happens when you get castrated. You lose your voice.
Dumbed down by your pampered middle-class existence.
Hey, boss. Should we kill him or what? No, I think I got a better idea. Why don't we take away the only thing he loves? His owner, Mr. Blansky.
What? What are you talking about? You can't really take me away. What, outside?
We're gonna kill you, you stupid idiot. First of all, I'm gonna do to you what you did to my son. Yeah, that's right, when you cut his balls off.
No!
Hand me the scissors. Snip, snip, Mr. Blansky. Yeah, all right, fellas. It's dinner time. And hey, you, Frenchie, for helping us out today. I'm gonna let you have first dibs on Mr. Blansky's testicles.
Thank you. I will dine on these nuts, and we shall all have the fanciest feast of all.
Tuesdays with Gory has been a presentation of Moss Tapes. For more information, please visit www.mosstapes.com.